G'day guys, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and solder to this LED strip. So this is going to come on like a long roll or a big long piece, and you have to decide how much of it you need. Now here I need 6 LEDs, and I'm actually counting out 7. And the reason I'm counting out 7 is because if I ruin my first solder job, I can just cut off the stuff that I've ruined. Now watch where I cut this. Alright, see this spot? Right, I know it's a little blurry, but what you want to do is you want to cut just between those copper terminals or pads and the little silver block you see there that's a resistor. You want to cut right there, and you want to use scissors. Don't use a pair of side cutters, use scissors, alright? So this is what you're going to be left with. Oh, hold on. Here we are, one end terminates in an LED, the other end terminates in those terminals. Alright, now if it's covered in this sort of waterproof layer, that's no big deal, just peel it off, give it a pinch, yep, and then tear it off. Right, and now you have access to those terminals. Now, the best way to hold this stuff down is to stick it on your heat-proof mat and get yourself a little tab of masking tape and just stick it down. Right, it's going to do a way better job of holding it than pretty much anything else. Good lord, that took a while. Alright, so here we're looking at these little terminals or these pads, and I've got my wires. So I've got a green, a blue, I've got my red for 5 volts, and I've grabbed an orange. Now, notice that the terminals themselves, they're only about 3 millimeters long. So you've got to get wire that's going to match those terminals. So that means you're going to strip wire, but you're only going to strip about 3 millimeters of wire, maybe 4 millimeters of wire. So you're just going to strip all of these bits of wire. And there you have it. That is what you should be looking at. And then once you've stripped it, give it the old twisty so that you don't get these stray strands going everywhere. That's really important for this. Alright, here we are looking at the terminal, and to solder these, you want to stick a little solder on your iron, and then you just want to sort of flood the pad with solder until you get these nice little sort of mounds on there. Right, feel free to move the strip around to make it easier to get the angle right. If you're a lefty, flip it around. You get the idea. Right, now, this is the tricky bit. So you're going to get your wires with your stripped ends. There's a hair on there. That's annoying. Right, let's get rid of that. Right, and then you're going to lay your wire over the top of your solder mount, and you're just going to touch your iron to it and melt that solder. You get the wire in there, and then keep it held there, nice and steady, while the solder goes hard again. So do it again. There we go. Notice that I keep my finger on the wire so that the wire doesn't move while the solder's molten. And let's just watch again. You lay it on. Right, you try and get it nice and close, and then you breathe on your camera lens or get smoke in the way so you can't see anything, but you just melt it on there. Right, and lucky last. Now this is hard. This is like probably the hardest soldering that you'll do, at least in my class or the stuff that I get you to do. Right, but you want them all on, and they should look like that. They should look like nice little silver mounds. Nothing's touching, there's no shorts, nothing's touching where it's not supposed to be touching. Okay, so before you put heat shrink on it, you want to strip the other ends, and you're just going to confirm that it works, that you haven't created any shorts really. The most likely thing you're going to do is you're going to accidentally solder those pads together, and so you're either going to put a short through 5 volts to one of the other sort of cathode ends, the red, green or blue, or you're going to short some of your cathodes and blend your colors. So take 5 volts, touch it to your 5 volts end, and then move through all of your colors. So there's my red, there's my green, there's my blue. If yours does that and it looks nice and neat, then you're golden. The thing you need to do is you need to grab a piece of this heat shrink, and you need to cut that much, right? And you're going to use that to cover the terminals or those soldered pads, right? So that you don't touch them or anything conductive and create shorts that might, ruin your project or kill the LEDs or whatever. So slip that heat shrink just up around there, so that you're not covering that first LED, right? That would be bad. The LED is not going to shine through it if it covers it. And then take your heat gun, turn the heat gun on, shrink the heat shrink down. It shouldn't take very long. Yeah, alright, that's enough. And that's it. That's your strip. You have soldered wires onto your strip. So doing this, you can make, as many of these as you need to. If you've got a project that needs hundreds of different lighting strips, this might be a way to do it. Cool.